What is up, car addicts? In this video, we'll be talking about this week's Sub Money Event Week, as well as the newest additions and discounts as well. This event week is for October 6th through October 12th, 2022. So for new content this week, the Obey 10F was finally added today. However, we only received the regular variant. The wide body variant is not currently available as of yet, and will most likely release sometime later this month or the beginning of next month. But anyways, that makes the 10F the 8th drip feed car of this DLC, which means we only have 4 cars left. Plus, we also have a brand new adversary mode that was added called Judgment Day, which is pretty cool. But anyways, the current prize ride for this week is the Casco. This car is primarily based on the Maserati 3500 GT and the Ferrari 250 as well. It has a normal price of about $900,000 and a trade price of about $680,000. To get this car for free, you have to place top 4 in an LS Carmate Series race for 4 days in a row. And honestly, I think 4 days in a row is a bit much. They should really limit it to 3 days in a row. In terms of performance, it is in the Sports Classics class and is in top 20, which is pretty impressive. Its main strength is top speed, and it's a very quick car for what it is. However, it unfortunately has no visual customization, which is a real shame, to be honest. I think this car looks great and it has a good exhaust note as well. But anyways, in terms of the test ride vehicles for this week, we have the Infernus, the Vector, and the Growler as well. And for next-gen console players, we have the weaponized Ignis as the HSW test ride vehicle for this week. Now, in terms of a casino podium vehicle, we have the Caracara. This vehicle is primarily based on a modified Ford Raptor, specifically the Hennessy Velociraptor 6x6, and honestly, it looks very out of place with that giant gun on the back sitting here in the casino. But anyways, this vehicle has a normal price of just under $1.8 million, which is pretty insane. And for those of you wondering, it has no visual customization except for some liveries and an upgraded rear gun. And that gun is not removable, so keep that in mind. You're forced to have that weird gun on the back. The Caracara 4x4 is just a better overall vehicle with tons of visual customization, etc. In terms of the dealership cars for this week, for luxury autos, we have the Stromberg and the new 10F as well. And if you happen to like the stock wheels on the 10F and want them in black, you can buy the one from Luxury Autos to get them already glitched in that black color. And for Simeons, we have the Cheburek, the Strider, the Calico GTF, the Banshee, and the Glendale as well. Moving on to discounts, in terms of the property discounts, we have 40% off the agency property, plus 40% off the upgrades and renovations for it as well. This property is needed to install Amani Tech on certain cars, and of course the well-paying payphone hits as well, so I highly recommend this property. Moving on to the vehicle discounts, we have 40% off the Growler. So this car is of course usable in tuner races and offers tons of customization. It's in the sports class and really isn't all that competitive, but it's still a really nice car to drive. Next up, we have 40% off the Vector. Pretty much the same story with this one. Usable in tuner races, offers tons of customization. It is in the sports class as well, but this one is quicker and is around top 20 for most tracks, which is pretty impressive. Moving along, we have 50% off the Infernus. So usually this car is a bit overpriced in my opinion at $440,000 considering it's an OG car, but at half price I think it's a pretty solid deal, and if you've always wanted one, I would definitely jump on it now with this price. Moving on to the Southern San Andreas website, we have 30% off the Calico GTF. So this car is arguably the best car for tuner races, and honestly I think is a good investment in general to complete those prize right challenges. If you don't own one already, I would highly recommend getting one this week. Next up, we have 50% off the Cheburek. So this is the car that has the hilarious cardboard upgrades, and it's a pretty fun one to drive as well, and is actually a lot quicker than you think. It's in the Sports Classics class and is actually around mid-pack, which is very impressive, up there with the Mamba, the JB700. I mean, for a car that looks like this, you would never think it would be that fast, but it actually is. Moving along, we have 30% off the Strider. So this car is a bit forgotten with its strange design. It is in the sports class and is one of the slowest vehicles in that class in terms of performance. The only thing it has going for it is kind of rarity, I suppose. Most players don't own it, so that's something to consider if you want a rarely seen car. Moving on to the Warstock website, we have 30% off the Stromberg. Almost everyone knows the capabilities of this car, but honestly, it's just completely outshined by the Toreador, which is better in almost every way. Moving on to the Benny's website, the conversion cost for the Banshee, which turns it into the Banshee 900R, is 50% off this week, which brings that custom conversion cost down to only $282,000, which is an insanely good deal for a vehicle with that much customization. In terms of login unlocks, you can get this War Mask for free just for logging in this week, which is pretty cool. And if you complete the Franklin and Lamar short trips this week, you unlock the Gray Vintage Frank Mask. In terms of returning content, the Halloween vehicles are back, so those include the Sanctus, the Frankenstein, and of course the Lurcher. These return every year, and remember that if you do not buy one of these vehicles during the Halloween event, you will have to wait till next year in order to buy it again. In terms of double money, we have double money NRP on the new adversary mode Judgment Day, plus double money NRP on the Franklin and Lamar short trip missions, security contracts, and the treasure chest / hidden caches as well. Moving on to the Prime Gaming discounts or Prime Gaming members only. So again, same as usual. The only thing we have is the usual free $125,000 for logging in during the event week period. And lastly, this week's RC Bandito time trial is La Fuente Blanca. This week's normal time trial is Mount Gordo. I highly recommend a fast bike such as the Hakachu Drag, Shotaro, or Batty 801 for this time trial. In terms of the premium race for this week, we have the motorcycle race Boots on the Ground. I highly recommend either the Shotaro or the Hakachu Drag for this race. And if you're on next gen, I highly recommend using the HSW Hakachu Drag for this race. And lastly, for next gen console users, the HSW time trial is Ron Alternates. As always, the HSW Hakachu Drag will be the best one for these. In terms of my vehicle discount pick of the week, I'm going to have to go with the Calico GTF. Although it's only 30% off, this car is an investment considering it's one of the fastest cars for tuner races and can help you complete those prize right challenges and save millions in free vehicles over time. Anyways guys, hope this was helpful. Overall, this event week is pretty good with some solid discounts, new events, decent double money, and of course the new Obey 10F, which was highly anticipated. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.